But individual stocks, I think a couple of interesting stocks for me. One is Muthoot Finance. It's a stock which is in a bull market of its own. There are a set of NBFCs in a bull market of their own, Muthoot being one of them. And it corrected after hitting a lifetime high and yesterday bounced from 20-day moving average. And today NBFCs should do well. So that's one stock. And the other is Motherson Sumi. It's a stock which is now showing signs of bottoming out. And it's managed to reclaim the 20 and 50 DMA on the way up, which is important. Now, let's see if can perhaps eke out a move towards 100 and 200 day moving average. Also, I've been reading about how global auto sales are looking up a bit, especially for companies like Toyota, which has been doing really well. And, of course, Motherson caters to Toyota as well. So that way, I think risk reward perhaps is in your favor after the kind of move that we have seen recently in the stock.
Okay, I'll take off from your first talk, Muthoot. Like you said, I'm expecting financials to do extremely well today. That's because we saw this US yields fall below 2% and German yields at all-time lows. So pick up all the financials. I'm more particularly it would be PSU banks, but financials even in private sector banks, NBFCs, HDFC twins, Bajaj twins. I would think that financials today should have a good day because you should see bond yields go towards probably 6.8 or something. But let me also speak about crude. Yeah. Crude prices falling. Again, the usual suspects, I guess, oil refiners, airlines. Those companies also expected to do well.
Okay, a big fall in crude overnight, right? A 4% slide that we've seen there. But let's talk about Bharat Forge as well. It's on our radar this morning. North America truck orders for the month of June have come through, and finally some good news, because on a month-on-month basis, there is a bit of an improvement, no doubt. It's a 25% month-on-month improvement that we've seen in sales in the month of June. 13,000 units is what we've seen. It compares to 10,800 units last month. Remember, May was a terrible month for truck orders, but there is a pickup in June. It's still much lower than the average of around 15 to 20,000 we've seen in the previous month. So the trend will also be up for you. But the fact that there's some relief in June is what the stock might like. Remember, Bharat Forge gets about 12% of its revenues from the North America truck market. Bharat Forge has already recovered. It's gone from about 420 to 460 over the last 1 month or so. Perhaps some more green today.
Okay, some green. Well, this is absolutely important. It could extend beyond just Bharat Forge if one thinks that there is at least a troughing out of this problem. Anisha, Adani Power, we have seen a vertical rally in that stock already.
Oh, well, yes, and now we know the reason why. Now, yesterday, during the afternoon, we had just a couple of lines from the Supreme Court, but it is in the evening that we got the Supreme Court order, and that looks much better than what we initially imagined. Now, this is regarding the plea that the company had made regarding the 1,000 megawatt PPA for the Gujarat plant. And remember, the company, the Supreme Court opined that the company is eligible for the compensation as it continued to honor the PPA despite not getting the allocated coal block or the FSA. So, of course, the quantum of the compensation would be decided by CERC over the next 3 months. But given the fact that the compensation grants have been allowed, is a big positive. The analysts are expecting the compensation could be to the tune of 4,000 to 6,000 odd crores. So sizable positive there.
Okay, well, perhaps we have seen a lot of that play out in trade yesterday, but let's see how today shapes up. TFCI, a stock that we don't generally talk about, is on our radar this morning. Mangalam is here to give us the lowdown. Hi, Mangalam. Morning.
Morning. So yesterday was down 20% TFCI. In fact, from the peak, it's almost halved, 43-44% lower. And that's on fears that, the company is exposed to the debt in Cox and Kings. Now, basis who you speak to, it would be anywhere between 50 to 100 crores. We'll have to get that exact number. But the company yesterday reported to the exchanges, and they said that the exposure in Cox and Kings that they have is adequately secured and a standard asset on their books because they are repayable over a period of 3 years. It's a short-term paper which is under stress, and the Cox and Kings exposure that they have has been secured by tangible current assets that they have as well as mortgage of fixed assets. On that, we may see a bit of green on the stock today, but definitely this is not the last that we've heard of TFCI and its exposure to Cox and Kings. I believe there is more to come.
Oh, okay. That's looking a little eerie. We'll try and get to the company. Sonal, you're watching IGL.
Well, yes, some positive news coming in as the company has hiked CNG prices in cities like Delhi, Noida and Gurugram. So in Delhi and Noida, they've increased the prices by 1 rupees per kg. In Gurugram, it's around 95 paisa. And this is done in order to pass through the hike in the gas transmission tariffs that was announced in the last month. So basically, it's a pass-through. And the new prices will come up for you on the screen. In the different cities, it's ranging from around 46 rupees to 58 rupees per kg. Remember, the stock is already down around 12% from the 52-week high that we saw on the 6th of June. So we could see some relief rally today. All right, some relief rally perhaps in IGL this morning. Thanks a lot, Sonal, for that. Anisha is also with us. She's going to tell us about Kalpataru Power and why she's tracking that one this morning. Anisha.
Oh, well, yes, Sona, there could be a small rally in Kalpataru Power as well because the company has acquired the balance equity of around 20% in their logistics arm, which is Shubham Logistics, for a value of around 65 crores. Now, this is what they have picked up from the private equity partner. Do remember it's a small sum of around 65 crores, but this is that logistics arm for which the company was looking for an IPO earlier. It seems like that the company is still looking for a strategic partner for the same because the management said that our ability to look at strategic partners for SSL and future growth will be much more focused with the 100% stake. So maybe in expectation of that, perhaps there would be a strategic partner coming at some point of time. The stock might see a tad bit of green tick in trade today.
All right, thank you very much. I spoke a lot of positives about a great deal of financial companies. One negative could be Reliance Home Finance. That has been further downgraded. Now CARE has taken the rating for about 400 crore of their long-term debt to D. They were until now at C for most rating agencies. Therefore perhaps, and yesterday you did see a little bit of green in some of the Reliance ADAG stocks. Perhaps this could take away some of those gains.
All right. Well, some red on Reliance Home Finance. It was a stock that moved quite a bit yesterday. But Aurobindo Pharma also on our radar today. Ekta's here to tell us why. Hi, Ekta.
Hi, morning. Well, for Aurobindo Pharmaceuticals, the news is that the company's Unit 11, which is already known, has received a warning letter. So what has taken place today is that the warning letter has become public. Now, remember that they already received an official action indicated status all the way in May. The company did inform the exchanges in June that they've received the warning letter. So a lot of the news is already factored into the stock in terms of the bad news. But I just want to point out that the US FDA has said that they are the responses by the company, which were undertaken in March soon after the observations were issued, were actually inadequate. And according to them, the US FDA recommends a thorough review of all the batches of API which were made at Aurobindo that shows unknown impurities, etc. So what this basically means is that it's probably a long road ahead for Aurobindo when it comes to remediation. Having said that, a lot of the news is probably already factored in, but a warning letter is always a sentiment negative.
Oh, absolutely. The word warning letter itself, whether you know the contents of the letter or not, the word warning letter, causes a sentiment negative there. Thanks, Ekta, for that. Let's move on and do a quick recap of our top stocks. Almost all our stocks today, barring two, have positive news flow going for itself. So I guess that will tell you the sentiment of the market. All the crude sensitives, IOC, BPCL, HPCL, Interglobe Aviation, SpiceJet, Asian Paints, Berger Paints, all in the green. Bharat Forge as well, month-on-month improvement in truck orders there. The PSU Bank Index, Nifty Bank, M&M Finance, HDFC Bank, HDFC, Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv. But I leave the rest of the stocks to you.
There are not too many. The positive news flow again for Adani Power. Much of it is in the price, but it could still go higher. IGL could rise, Kalpataru Power as well. TFCI, let us wait and watch. Muthoot Finance again in the green. Motherson Sumi in the green. The stocks for which we have negative news, Reliance Home Finance and Aurobindo Pharma.
All right.